The next iPhone design might be very different. Plus Apple is working on some huge iPad upgrades, iPhone 14, 14 Pro, 14 Max, and 14 Plus. And so much more coming your way sooner than you might be expecting. This next generation of Apple products should be really exciting. But also might be a little problematic if Apple doesn't fix some big issues happening right now. So let's talk about the messy drama happening in the Apple world right now. As well as all the latest leaks and news and rumors that you need to know about. As we always do here on the Tech Talk Center. And also talk about the some biggest Apple products launching soon that just leaked. We have a lot of new details, and let me tell you right now there is a whole lot here to get excited about. No single Apple product is perfect of course. But we are closer now to the perfect Apple product than we've ever been before. The new MacBook Pro finally has a great screen and has some really excellent and useful ports. AirPods Pro deliver fantastic noise cancellation and honestly a sort of magical pairing experience, and the iPad Pro has been looking amazing since that major redesign in 2018. But contrary to Apple's messaging, not everything is perfect in the illustrious Apple walled garden. There are still some interesting choices being done and some outdated designs that need to be fixed. Before we can really see this awesome next generation of all new Apple products. Before we jump in any of that, let's start first with some big changes coming to the iPhone. Obviously the iPhone 14 we sort of know what is coming. But what about the iPhone 15 and iPhone 16? What are the big changes coming next? That could really change the iPhone as we know it forever. The first thing to expect is some major design change. Obviously that's not happening this year, it might not even happen next year, but at some point Apple is expected to finally give us a major redesign to the iPhone. And go maybe in a couple of different directions. Some rumors suggest that Apple is going to give us sort of this throwback to the iPhone 4, so you've got round volume buttons, the speaker mesh. On the bottom this very boxy industrial design. It's sort of got this mix of newness and familiarity there as well. That's sort of hard to put into words, but if it looks anything like these renders. The iPhone that we see in the not so distant future. Or Apple could go in an entirely different direction. And finally, after a lot of rumors, give us the folding iPhone. Yes, the folding iPhone is real and might be coming really soon. We know Apple is currently developing multiple prototypes of folding iPhones. With different screen sizes and different flipping mechanisms. And we know it's coming soon. So what if the next major design change was with this folding iPhone? Maybe we finally get a new form factor. We've got this big beautiful 8-inch display on the inside. You've got the smaller, but really useful screen on the outside. That is unlike any iPhone we have ever seen before. The next big changes have to do with the screen. We know this year Apple is going to finally ditch the notch on the Pro models. And give us this new double hole punch system, but what can we expect next? What's going to happen with the iPhone 15 and iPhone 16? That gives us something different than this double hole punch system. Is this really sticking around forever? Right now it looks like Apple is going to keep the double hole punch system. At least next year into the iPhone 15, putting it across every model. So whether you go iPhone 15 or iPhone 15 Pro Max, you're gonna have this double hole punch system. But the iPhone 15 things could go a couple of different ways. Apple could keep the double hole punch system. They could move to just a little single cutout for the selfie camera and move Face ID under the display. Or they go sort of all in on a sort of notchless hole punchless iPhone and finally just give us an all screen display. Face ID moves under the display, the selfie camera moves under the display. And we're left with just one big beautiful OLED panel. The other screen change that has been rumored for quite some time is Apple finally bringing Touch ID back to the iPhone and building it under the display. We have heard rumors about this for years. We've seen patents about it, multiple patents. Now at this point we know Apple is for sure working on this. And hopefully it's going to come sometime in the next few years. A few other changes here worth noting. Obviously Apple's silicon is going to continue to get better. So don't expect that to go away anytime soon. In fact, Apple is going to bring more of their components in-house to give you a better unified iPhone experience from end to end. Thus might actually be happening sooner than later, thanks to some proposed legislation here in the US and some EU legislation. Moving forward, and camera upgrades of course will continue as well. We're getting a big upgrade this year with a 48 megapixel main camera. Maybe that will come to the sort of lesser iPhones next year with a regular 15 and 15 Max. And a new telephoto lens, a new periscope zoom lens system is coming as early as next year with the iPhone 15 Pro to give you 10x optical zoom. Next up, let's talk iPad with a lot of good news. And some bad news here to discuss. There are some huge upgrades coming to the iPad. We've got new screens, new screen sizes, new form factor changes. Lots of great stuff happening with the iPad, but also there's some drama and some problems here that we have just gotta talk about. Apple is dealing with some iPad controversy right now for a couple of major reasons. The first is that there still is no selection of Pro apps even as the iPad has sort of reached its peak. In terms of hardware and software, you've got the new iPad A16, you've got the M1 chip inside, but the M2 rumored to be coming really soon. You've got this really beautiful display. You've got the lighter camera system. You've got lots of great hard work here for the iPad to take advantage of, but the software still seems limited. Specifically, there still is no mention or no hint of full Pro apps. There's no Final Cut, there's no Logic. No full-fledged macOS app is ever going to come to the iPad. Not because it is technically impossible, but because for one reason or another, Apple is saying no, and also Stage Manager is causing some issues. Because this new software experience is only available on M1-powered iPads. Even though many have suggested that this isn't actually needing the M1 to do its thing. And that it could be activated in older iPads, but Apple just doesn't want to do that. Because they want to force you to upgrade. But with that drama out of the way, what's the good news of the iPad world right now, and what do we have to look forward to this year, next year, and in the next few years? Well, one of the big upgrades coming hopefully sooner than later is an all-new 14-inch iPad. Originally we thought this was going to be a 14-inch iPad Pro. But after some more digging by analysts like Ross Young, looks like this might actually be an update to maybe the iPad Air. Or the base iPad getting this new larger 14-inch size. We're also fairly confident Apple's going to bring M2 to both iPad Pro models this fall, and also some new screen upgrades.